Triad Mastery Bootcamp. So I'm just going to warm up and practice and shed some Triad shapes and just continue delving deeper into mastering the fretboard with Triads. I might answer a couple of questions if there's anybody out there that has them, that wants to ask anything particular, but I'm primarily just going to kind of practice and let you guys see what I'm up to with Triads. If you want a PDF, if you're not super familiar with your Triad shapes, or if you just want to see the shapes specifically that I'm using, you can click the link above, or it might be below, or wherever it is. And there's a little button to download the PDF. And if you're totally brand new to melodic triads and you're curious about our study group, you can read more about it there, but that's where the PDF is. Alright, I'm just going to jump in because we're just going to do these kind of little quick videos. So this will be probably 30 minutes or so, 25, 30 minutes. I got my fake metronome. Or should I call it my real metronome? What's it set at? About 130, I think, something like that. Yeah, 130 on this. So I'm just going to play through, I kind of think in terms of 3 basic triad shapes. These are all C major. Starts up on the 8th fret for me. Yes, there is a shape in the middle. Don't worry about that too much because there's no missing notes. I'm just not overlapping any notes. So that's like a little bridge position that kind of gets filled in over time just by knowing these two really well. And then the last one's the 12th fret, starting on the 3rd of the triad. So those are the 3 shapes I'm going to be working with. If you're totally brand new to melodic triads and don't know me yet, first of all, my name's Jordan. How's it going? When I talk about C major triads, I'm not talking about diatonic triads. I'm not talking about the 7 diatonic triads of C major. Like, if you're still working on something like if you're still working on that, then that's cool. That's a good thing to work on. It's not what I'm talking about, though. I'm just talking about the C major triad. From there, we can add notes to it. We can fill it out into a scale. We can turn it into an upper structure triad. Right, so that's a C major triad over like a B flat 7 chord. Now I'm just adding a couple of notes to it. But notice this C note still sounds like home bass. Even though I'm now using it over a B flat 7. So to me, this is the way I think. I don't think scales turning into triads. I think a triad that turns into different types of scales or modes. And then within that, we can pull that apart if we want to. But this gives me sort of melodic tension and resolution. That's what I'm looking for, sort of anchor points to hang my melody notes off of. Okay, so I'm just going to run these shapes through some obstacle courses and just try and tighten them up and continue digging into my own fretboard mastery. So what I'll probably start off with is just taking each one of the 3 shapes and just moving that one shape through the circle of fifths. So this is really bad voice leading, but it's a good thing to work on. I think you'll see what I mean in a second once I start playing. So I'm going to take this first shape. starting on the G note. Just going to move it through the circle of fifths. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's C, here's F. B flat. E flat. A flat. D flat. G flat. B. E, here's A. D. G. Shape. I did twice through the circle of fifths. If you're new at the circle of fifths, that might be super challenging, but just go slow, take your time, and give it a shot. I'm going to go to the next position, starting on the 8th fret, the sort of root position, C major Triad. Just make sure this video feeds. Yeah, cool. 2, 3, 4. F. D flat. E flat. A flat. D flat. G flat. And then the last one, starting on the 12th fret. One, two, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's G. I'm moving backwards to the circle fifth, sorry. C, then F, not C, then G. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, so anytime I mess up, I like to just immediately stop, reset just the smallest little chunk. I don't start back over. So here's E flat. Sorry, where did I mess up from? B flat moving into E flat. Back from the top. 1, 2, 1, 2. next. B. Man, this position is obviously my weakest one. E. A. D. G. Back to C. Yeah, it's funny to see the Triad starting on the third. Root's super easy. Almost anybody can learn to see the root first. The fifth is pretty easy because it's like right next to the root. But the third is kind of a funny note to start on. That's an interesting weakness. So for those of you who don't know me at all and who are kind of brand new to melodic triads or to just hanging with me, I live in New York. I moved up here, maybe 6 or 7 years ago. For a master's studies program, I got to play and hang and study with a lot of my heroes, Schofield and Peter Bernstein and Rosenwinkel and Brad Shepik, Stefan Harris, all these great players. And then I got hit with some medical issues and had to stop playing for a few years and had to relearn to play. So the whole Triad approach is something I kind of dreamed up using a lot of the wisdom and concepts that I learned from these musicians that I was playing and studying with. So I still discover weaknesses all the time. Even if I wasn't relearning to play at the moment, I would still be discovering weaknesses. Hopefully, we should all be. But that's where a lot of these ideas came from, of how I think about the fretboard and organize things and navigate things, is sort of looking for the most direct path to just getting interesting sounding lines and great harmony, hopefully. So I'm going to keep an eye on this position and on the B major Triad because that's a little asterisk in my notebook for me. Okay, I'm going to now play around. We still got plenty of time. Cool. I'm going to play around a little bit with voice leading, because that was terrible voice leading when I was just playing. That's like jumping all over the place. That's really not the point or the path to getting really smooth sounding lines. So instead I'm going to combine all three positions together and play through the circle of fifths, moving in and out of all three positions so that I get a little bit more of a smooth contour so it's not leaping everywhere. So as a quick example of what I mean by that, if I start here on C again, the closest F major Triad is not up here. Right, there's two nearby ones. There's one right here, and that's fine. I'm going to go for this 5th fret, A note. The game I'm going to play is if I can stay put, like if they share the same first or last note, I'm going to stay put, and if I can't stay put, then I'm going to ascend up the fretboard. So C major, F major, B flat, to E flat. They share that same note in common, so I'm not going to move. When I shift from B flat to E flat, I'm going to start on the same note. Okay, so this one's going to be a little trickier. Again, if you're brand new to Melodic Triad Study Group, if you've never gone through the boot camp programs that I have available in there, which are essentially little practice games, like week by week assignments that I pretty much made up for myself in order to relearn to play again. If you haven't gone through that, and this is totally a new way of thinking, this might be a little bit of a challenge. So if you're going to try and play along with me, just realize you might want to mute it and put your metronome a lot slower than where I'm at, which is not that fast to begin with. It's about 130. One, two, 1, 2, 3, 4, C, F, B flat, B flat, A flat, D flat, F, G flat, B, here's my problem triad that I messed up before, E, two times without talking, a little bit easier to concentrate and practice when I'm not explaining what I'm doing, but now that I have explained it, I'm just going to play through that. 1, 2, 1, 2. Now I'm moving twice as fast. I didn't mean to do this, but I'm doing it anyways. So this was the exact same game or obstacle course, but now I'm changing not just at the lowest note. I'm not playing all the way up and back. And then changing. That time I played up, and then I changed and descended in the new triad. So C, F, descending, B flat, E flat. All right, I'll do it again. 1, 2. B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, B, crank the tempo up just a little bit, see if we can push this. Go to 150. Again, if 150 is too fast for you, which it very well might be, then go slower. 1, 2, 1. Alright, so that is just basic, pure shapes. It might be super challenging for you if you're not used to thinking one triad at a time, as opposed to right, if you're used to thinking of triads in terms of like diatonically snaking through a key, then being able to just think one triad position at a time might be challenging, and then moving it through the circle of fifths will likely be challenging. But it's a worthwhile thing to practice. Again, I come back to the example of, if I want to play over a B flat 7, and I want that sort of upper structure 13 sharp 11 9 sound, I just from having practice, I just know that C major triad, not the diatonic triads of the key. key of C major, I mean an actual C major triad, C, E, G. Will give me the 13 sharp 11, the 13 sharp 11 and the 9, and then I can sprinkle in some other notes around it. Still treating C as like the root note of this scale. So being able to think about one triad as a position, it's sort of like a steel frame that we can hang other things on top of. So it's a good way to start practicing, even if you're not quite as obsessed with triads as I am. It can really unlock a lot of potential for scales, modes, arpeggios, all that kind of generic theory and approach to improvisation. So for the last couple minutes, I don't see any questions, which is cool. For the last couple minutes, I'm just going to take this idea of one triad, and I'm going to kind of delve a little bit deeper into maybe how it can be expanded. So I was just working on this with one of my coaching students recently. We were working on this assignment of sort of leapfrogging through the triad. So it's like play this note, you skip over one, land on the next one. Come back one, skip over, land on the next. Back, skip, skip. Okay? But then I'm going to descend chromatically. So I'm going to skip over one and walk back chromatically to this note. So skip over, descend chromatically, skip over, descend chromatically. So now I'm not just playing 3 pitches, I'm playing all 12 pitches. This is effectively a chromatic scale, but I'm using the major triad notes as the sort of anchor points where I start and stop or enter and exit the chromatic scale. So I'm going to be playing all 12 notes, all 12 pitches, but it's still going to imply the sound of C major. Right, G up to E, walking back down to C. Once I get to C, I jump up to G, and I walk back down to E. Slow it back down just for the first 1 or 2 takes of this. Where was I before? 130? Yeah. So the goal, if we can, is to try and get the triad notes on the strong beats and get all the chromatic filler notes landing us there. That's why I like to start just by practicing the position so I can really see it in my mind and find it with my fingers. And then the chromatic notes should carry me from one note to the next. So. So this is what our ear is kind of hearing, but then we have the entire chromatic scale squeezed inside of that. So this is pseudo bebop scale, but it's not like a traditional bebop scale. It's just the triad with all the chromatic filler notes. That was F. Here's B flat. really pick a specific rhythm to connect these with. I'm kind of just going at a free-for-all. My metronome's on the glitch. There's A flat. Yeah, this one has so many notes that I kind of need to work out. There's B. E. A. D. G. And then back to C. Sometimes I like to work out a specific rhythm with something like this. Other times I just like to let it be, to focus on getting to where I want to get, which is the triad note on the downbeat, because it comes across, I think, a little bit more organically and naturally and fluidly. But if you need to work something out, you can. We're basically out of time, I gotta run, but this can turn directly into just playing over changes, like C major. I think I have this in my... Let me re-record this loop very quickly, and then I gotta run. So this is just a 2-5-1, a 2-5-1-6 C major. Feeling that pulse, and then as long as I put a triad note on it, I can wind my way with these chromatic filler notes, and it'll just kind of break apart the annoying diatonic sensation of running a C major scale. Changes. I'm not trapped inside chord movement. I'm just thinking about the fact that I'm in the key of C. I'm looking at my C major triad notes, and then I'm connecting a couple of them chromatically. I played a couple of other chords in there. I implied some changes, but then I came back to this basic triad again. hopefully that all makes sense. Michael, please post a link to PDF. Having trouble finding it, thanks. The link is in the description. If you click on it, it should say Melodic Triad Study Group at the top, and then just beneath that it should say something like Facebook Live PDF, and there should be a big old button with today's date on it. If you click on that, it'll let you download it. I will double check and make sure. It is possible that I did not publish this page. Nope, it says it's published, so it should be available if you just click it. In fact, I'm going to test it out real quick, and then I'm going to run. Yep, so when you click on it, it says Facebook Live Class, and then there's a big blue button, like big. It says January 11th. If you click that, it'll download it. I'm not planning on building any kind of archive for these, so I'm going to reuse the same landing page. So every day that I do these, which the plan is to do it Monday through Friday, I'm just going to upload the new PDF to this page. So if you're watching this video and it's already Tuesday the 12th or any time after that, this particular PDF won't be there anymore. Just because I don't really want to spend the time and energy of like creating an entire archive for these. The whole idea is just getting some daily practice and approaches and conversation happening. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below. I'll try and hit some of them. Some of the other Melodic Triad study group members are in this Facebook group, so they might be able to help also. Today was Triad, sort of basic Triad mastery, just like thinking about triads in a slightly different perspective than you might be used to. Again, not running the diatonic triads, but actually just having the patience to sit inside of one triad and then explore it and be more playful with it, like adding chromaticism. There's a ton of things we can do within a simple triad to make it very musical. It's almost like the more musical we want it to be, the simpler we need to practice it. It's like a little kid with a stick. Like I use this metaphor all the time with my students and the study group members. Like imagine you're a little kid out in the woods and you find a stick, and that stick can be anything, right? It could be a baseball bat, it could be an axe, it could be a gun, it could be a spear, it could be anything you want it to be, whatever you can dream it up, but only because it's just a stupid little stick. It's very simple. So the triad, the pure triad to me is like the stick in the woods. And then we can do all kinds of things with it. I can play the leapfrog game and add leading tones. Right, and then I would take any of those ideas and move it through the circle fifth. So this is the kind of stuff we're going to start doing on Mondays. Sometimes it'll be a major triad, sometimes minor, sometimes diminished or augmented, sometimes a sus triad, sometimes a major flat five. I don't know. Gonna kind of play these by ear and see how they evolve. Tomorrow will be, what is tomorrow? Melodic ear training. So this is going to get into some of that truly melodic triads stuff. Quadratonics and really listening to how the notes are behaving against different chords. So that's what I'll talk about tomorrow. If you're around, feel free to join me. Hit me up with questions and let me know if you guys need anything, and I will see you tomorrow. Happy practicing.